McCain. I'm a bass player with the Philly Pops, and in this series, we're going to talk about improvisation and soloing. We're going to talk about what it is, where it came from, why it's important, and we're going to focus on how we can begin to improvise our own solos over different kinds of chord changes, just like we hear the great jazz improvisers do in many records. So first of all, what is improvisation? Improvising is when you create or make up something right on the spot or right in the moment. When we say the word improvisation, a lot of people start to think of actors who can create a scene or a script or a play that's just based off a topic that was given to them. Or maybe even a storyteller that can create a whole story without ever writing it beforehand. Improvising also happens in sports. Take a sport like basketball, right? They have to decide on the spot whether they're going to pass the ball, whether they're going to shoot the ball, whether they're going to run. It's all based off of what your team was doing. We also improvise every day. Think about a conversation that you have with your friend or your teacher or anyone. We never plan out everything that we're going to say because we can't. A lot of what we say is going to be based off of what the other person's saying. If they're talking about cars or something, now the conversation's about cars. If they're talking about a book, now the conversation's going to be about that book. Jazz musicians do the same thing. Improvising in jazz is a lot like a conversation. What a jazz musician plays is going to be based off of something that their bandmate played, or maybe even something they hear in the audience. If they hear the audience has a lot of energy, they might play something with a lot of energy to match that. If the audience maybe is being a little chill, relaxed, maybe they'll play something that's a little more relaxed just to match that energy. So why is improvisation so important in jazz music? Improvisation has been one of the main characteristics of jazz since the early Dixieland bands in New Orleans. Early jazz musicians like Louis Armstrong would take well-known melodies and begin improvising over them and creating something that sounded like his own song. This made jazz so unique from many other styles of music, where music was written and expected to be played pretty much the same way every time by anyone who played it. The song was meant to sound happy, it was meant to sound sad, it was meant to sound upbeat or relaxed. But now with jazz music and these new great improvisers, the same song could be played differently every time and sound different depending on how the musician was feeling at the time. I'm going to take a song called You Are My Sunshine, and the first time I'll just play it normal. The second time I'm going to add a little improvisation to give you an idea of what some of these early musicians were doing to change the song a little bit. So that's just a quick example of a way that these early improvisers would take a song and make it sound a little bit more like their own. As time went on, jazz musicians took it even a step further and began improvising longer solos. Some great examples to listen to are a saxophonist by the name of Charlie Parker on a tune called Blues for Alice. Another one is a trumpet player, Miles Davis, playing on a tune called So What. And a personal favorite of mine, bass player named Christian McBride on a tune called Honeysuckle Rose. Not only does he improvise a solo, but he also improvises a bass line too. So check out these examples, take a listen to what they're doing in their improvisation. And in our next video, we'll get started with improvising over some basic chord changes. See you guys in the next one.